Millbrook, quaint, peaceful, nestled amid rolling hills shrouded in morning mist. A place where children played freely, their laughter echoing in the square. Life was simple, a comforting rhythm, until it wasn't, until Sarah vanished. Sarah, with her sunny disposition and infectious laugh, was the heart of Millbrook. She knew everyone, greeted everyone with a smile. No one was a stranger to Sarah. Then, one crisp autumn evening, she disappeared. Gone, without a trace. The annual fall festival, the air, alive with music and the aroma of pumpkin spice. Excitement crackled like the bonfire flames, but as dusk settled and shadows grew long, a chill settled over the revelry. Sarah was gone. Frantic whispers replaced joyous laughter. Where was Sarah? The search began. Volunteers scoured the town, their faces etched with worry. Hours crawled by, each tick of the clock amplifying the growing dread. Hope dwindled with the fading light. Days bled into weeks. The search parties dwindled, hope flickering like a dying ember. Despair hung heavy in the air, a palpable weight on the hearts of the townsfolk. The once vibrant Millbrook was now cloaked in fear. Whispers started, tales of a recluse living in the woods, a man who kept to himself, his eyes holding a disquieting intensity. Could he be involved? Was there a darker secret lurking beneath Millbrook's idyllic facade? Deep in the woods, shrouded by ancient oaks and tangled vines, stood a dilapidated cabin, isolated, forgotten, or so it seemed. The townsfolk, their desperation growing, stumbled upon it during their relentless search. A chill ran down their spines. This place felt wrong, tainted. The air hung heavy with a silence that was almost deafening. They knew with a sickening certainty that they were close. Too close. The interior of the cabin was a scene frozen in time. Dust-laden furniture, cobwebs clinging to every corner. But there was something else, something that sent shivers crawling down their spines. Newspaper clippings plastered the walls, each one detailing Sarah's disappearance. And then, they saw it. A hunting jacket, discarded on the floor. It was identical to the one worn by the recluse. The pieces were falling into place, painting a horrifying picture. The discovery of the cabin sent shockwaves through Millbrook. The recluse, a man known only as Old Man Hemlock due to his solitary nature, and the towering hemlock tree near his cabin, was now the prime suspect. The townsfolk, their fear now laced with anger, converged on his cabin, their torches casting long, menacing shadows in the twilight. But Hemlock was gone. The search for Hemlock was relentless. Day and night, the townsfolk scoured the woods, their determination fueled by a potent mix of fear and rage. They were determined to bring Sarah home, to make Hemlock pay for what he had done. Then, just when their hope began to dwindle, they found him, or rather, they found his body. He lay sprawled at the foot of the towering hemlock, his eyes staring vacantly at the sky. He was dead. Hemlock's death was a puzzle, another layer of mystery in an already baffling case. The townsfolk of Millbrook had never seen anything like it. The detective, seasoned and sharp, stood perplexed, his mind racing through the possibilities. How could a man die without a single mark on his body? The questions hung in the air, heavy and oppressive. No signs of struggle, no obvious cause of death. The room was untouched, as if frozen in time. Every object in its place, every shadow cast just right. It was as if the very essence of life had been plucked from Hemlock without a trace. The detective's hands moved methodically, searching for any clue, any hint of what had transpired. It was as if he had simply expired. The lifeless hand, pale and still, told no tales. The body, devoid of any visible wounds, lay there, a silent testament to the enigma that was Hemlock's demise. The townsfolk whispered among themselves, their fear palpable. What kind of force could do this? What unseen hand had struck him down? His death, while a relief to some, did little to quell the unease that had settled over Millbrook. Sarah was still missing. The town's collective anxiety grew with each passing day. The once vibrant community now moved with a sense of dread, their conversations hushed and filled with speculation. The mystery of Hemlock's death only deepened the fear surrounding Sarah's disappearance. And with Hemlock gone, the hope of finding her alive dwindled with each passing day. The setting sun cast long shadows over the town, a visual reminder of the darkness that had taken hold. The missing person posters, now weathered and worn, fluttered in the cold wind, a stark reminder of the fragility of hope. Each day that passed without a sign of Sarah felt like a step closer to despair. The once peaceful town was now shrouded in silence and shadows, haunted by what they didn't know. The streets, once filled with laughter and life, now echoed with an eerie stillness. Shadows moved in the fog, playing tricks on the eyes, feeding the growing paranoia. Millbrook had become a place of fear and uncertainty, a town caught in the grip of an unsolved mystery that threatened to unravel the very fabric of their community. Life in Millbrook was forever changed. Once a bustling community filled with laughter and joy, the town now carried an air of melancholy. The streets that were once filled with the sounds of children playing and neighbors chatting were now eerily silent. The disappearance of young Sarah had cast a long, dark shadow over the town, altering its very essence. The shadow of Sarah's disappearance lingered, a constant reminder of their vulnerability. Every corner seemed to whisper her name, and every dark alley held the weight of unanswered questions. The abandoned houses, with their broken windows and creaking doors, stood as silent witnesses to the tragedy that had befallen Millbrook. The laughter of children was now tinged with a note of caution, their games confined to well-lit yards. Parents watched over them with vigilant eyes, their hearts heavy with fear. The carefree days of running through the streets and exploring the woods were gone, replaced by a constant sense of dread. The innocence of childhood had been tainted by the ever-present threat that loomed over the town. The once vibrant town square stood eerily deserted after dark, the silence broken only by the rustling leaves and the distant hoot of an owl. The shops that once stayed open late, welcoming customers with warm lights and friendly faces, now closed their doors early. The heart of Millbrook had grown cold, its pulse weakened by the fear that gripped its residents. Millbrook was no longer a place of peace. The streets, once filled with life, now lay empty and desolate. The sense of community that had once defined the town had been replaced by isolation and suspicion. Neighbors who once greeted each other with smiles and friendly waves now avoided eye contact, their trust eroded by the mystery that remained unsolved. It was a town haunted by an unsolved mystery and the ghost of a girl who vanished without a trace. Sarah's face, forever frozen in time on missing person posters, served as a grim reminder of the fragility of life. Her story had become a part of Millbrook's identity, a tragic chapter that overshadowed all others. The town, once a symbol of safety and community, had become a place of shadows and secrets, forever changed by the loss of one of its own. Years have passed, seasons turning in their relentless cycle. The world outside moved on, but in Millbrook, it felt as though time had frozen. The town remained trapped in a perpetual state of waiting, as if holding its breath for answers that never came. But in Millbrook, time seemed to stand still. The streets, once bustling with life, now lay silent and deserted. The playgrounds, where children's laughter once echoed, were now shrouded in an eerie fog, their swings swaying gently in the wind, as if moved by unseen hands. The questions lingered, unanswered, echoing in the silence. What happened to Sarah? Her disappearance had left a void in the hearts of the townspeople, a mystery that gnawed at their souls. The faded missing person posters, now barely legible, served as a haunting reminder of the unresolved tragedy. Was Hemlock involved, or was he an innocent victim of circumstance? The enigmatic figure of Hemlock loomed large in the collective consciousness of Millbrook. His shadowy presence, captured in old photographs and whispered about in hushed tones, added layers of complexity to the already tangled web of questions. The courtroom gavel, a symbol of justice, seemed to mock the town's inability to find closure. And what about the unsettling presence that lingered in the woods, a coldness that sent shivers down the spines of those who dared venture too close to Hemlock's abandoned cabin? The forest, once a place of solace and beauty, had become a realm of fear and foreboding. The cabin, standing in eerie silence, seemed to watch over the town, its secrets buried deep within its decaying walls. Some mysteries, it seemed, were destined to remain unsolved, their answers lost in the shadows, forever haunting the town of Millbrook. The shadows that moved in the dark alleyways, the old, dusty books with their forgotten stories, and the fog that rolled over the deserted town, all whispered of secrets that would never be revealed. Millbrook, with its unanswered questions and lingering ghosts, stood as a testament to the mysteries that time could not erase.